Hi there, my name's John and I work for Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust. It won't surprise you to learn that rivers are hugely important to us. Our lives, our culture, our economy and of course our wildlife. Sadly, all too often our watercourses are degraded in some way. Some issues like pollution and soil erosion are the sorts of things that can only really be addressed satisfactorily at the catchment level. However, there are a number of techniques that we can use that utilise natural processes to address those concerns at the local level. So we're here today in this short video at Greystones Farm by the River Eye in the Cotswolds to look at just some of those techniques. One of the techniques we use is faggoting. We use this technique when we are trying to either re-establish a bank that has been severely damaged by poaching cattle, or if we are trying to address and stabilise bankside erosion, or where we're trying to narrow the channel itself where it's been over-widened over the years. To do that, we use natural materials. Everything you have here is what we find on our nature reserves or on the site that you're working on. So these are hazel bundles, but you could use brushwood. And what they are is that they're all tied together as these big faggot bundles, sometimes called fascines. These are then placed in the river and pinned in place with 2 rows of sweet chestnut stakes. These are then bound together with manila rope. So that's the old navy rope, but without the tar, obviously. All of this material is biodegradable. These stakes are then knocked true, so it's firmly tucked in, and this will remain here until it completely biodegrades. In some cases, it will backfill behind with lots of emergent vegetation. Others, it will just naturally become part of the bank structure. In this case, what we've done as well is to add willow spiling in. So this is what you can see here to give it additional strengthening. The reason why we use this natural material rather than stone, which you could use for revetment purposes or for narrowing a river, is because this material provides nooks and crannies for all the fish fry and your macroinvertebrates. It also feeds the food chain. We've now switched to another tributary of the same river system where the local fishing syndicate have been employing this faggoting technique to narrow the river over the course of about 25 to 30 years. The tree line behind me that you see, the ash trees, that is the original line of this river. Where I'm standing now is on top of the faggoting. You can see behind me this huge swathe of emergent vegetation that's sprung up in the last 2 or 3 years since this has been constructed, and this provides essential food and refuge for a whole range of native wildlife species. On a different part of the river now, it's been straightened, and with straight rivers you have uniformity of channel. Quite often you have a paucity of woody debris. So how we address that is to install large woody debris deflectors. So there's one here, for example. This is a piece of oak fallen across the river. It's been manipulated into position, pinned into the substrate using 2-metre lengths of rebar, and what this will do is that it subtly narrows the channel at the tip here, and what that does is you get a whole load of scour to the bed here which exposes the gravels which the fish can spawn in. Another technique is just over here where you hinge a tree. Same principle in the sense that you're putting material into the stream that creates woody debris, but what you're also doing is providing shade and a lot more nooks and crannies for your macroinvertebrates, i.e. feeding that food chain again. The use of faggoting and large woody debris deflectors is a fantastic way that we can enhance otherwise modified streams. We're dependent on the farmers and landowners for their permission. We're dependent on the Environment Agency for consent. Equally, we at the Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust are very dependent on the labour that is required to be able to do this work. And for that, a big thank you to our volunteers.